Hello everyone, let's see this question. A boy takes 60 minutes to swim across a river. If his goal is to minimize time, and takes 180 minutes if his goal is to minimize to zero the distance that he is carried downstream. This is the drift. In both these attempts, boy swims with the same speed relative to the river current. Which of the following statements can be true? So let's imagine this as the river. It has some width, let's call it d. Now, to cross the river in the minimum possible time, his velocity relative to water must be like this, and the velocity of the river, let's call it u, would be like this. So the time taken to cross the river, that is 180 minute, 60 minute, is equal to d by v, right? And anyway, the options are given in r, so let's write it in r only. So 1r is equal to d by v here. Now he wants to make the drift zero. So this is only possible if v is larger than u, then only the drift can be made zero, because the person has to swim at such an angle such that v sine theta should be equal to u. And in this situation, it crosses the river with a speed v cos theta. So the time taken in this case, that is 3r, that must be equal to d upon v cos theta. Okay, and from here you can see that this v sine theta must cancel the river velocity in this direction. Then only he'll be able to swim along this line, right? So that means what? We know that v sine theta is equal to u, that is sine theta is u by v. So cos theta is 1 minus u square by v square root over. So when you write here, what do you get? You get d divided by v square minus u square root over. Directly also using Pythagoras theorem, you can say that since this is v and this has magnitude u, so this must have magnitude v square minus u square root over. So these two equations we have. Okay, let's divide these two. So if we divide these two, we would have that 3 is equal to v upon v square minus u square root over, right? So that gives us what? That gives us v square is equal to 9v square minus 9u square. So 8v square is equal to 9u square. That is to say that v is equal to 3u by 2 root 2. Okay, v is equal to 3u by 2 root 2. Now let's see the first option. He can swim relative to water faster than river current. That must be correct. Okay, option A. Then he cannot swim relative to water faster than the river current. That must be wrong, because A is correct. Then option C. If the width of the river is 3 root 2 kilometer, speed of river current is 4 kilometer per hour. So width of the river, if it is given to us as 3 root 2 kilometer, then the speed of the river current is asked. So how do we get the speed of the river current? So since d is given to us, so we can use this, that v is equal to what? V is equal to d upon 1r, right? That is v. So v is 3 root 2 kilometer per hour. Now if v is 3 root 2 kilometer per hour, now we also have this equation, that the second equation, that 8v square is equal to 9u square, right? So from there, what would we get? We would get 8 into 3 root 2 whole square is equal to 9 into u square, which would give us what? It would give us u square is 8 into 9 into 2 by 9, which gives us u is equal to 4, which is our option C. Let's see the next option. It is saying that if he crosses a 3 root 2 kilometer wide river in 60 root 2 minute, he'll be carried root 2 kilometer downstream. Now, here distance, that is the width of the river, is given 3 root 2 kilometer, and the time taken to cross is root 2 r. 60 root 2 minute means what? Root 2 r. So that means you can say that we know v cos theta. V cos theta, we know it to be this much. That is 3 kilometer per hour, right? So v cos theta, if it is 3 kilometer per hour, now v sin theta. V sin theta would be what? V sin theta, V we know is how much? Total V is 3 root 2. So if V cos theta is 3 kilometer per hour, that means V is making an angle of 45 degree with the perpendicular direction. So there are two situations here. One situation, it can be like this. Okay, so this will be making 45 degree this way, and the speed is 3 root 2 kilometer per hour. Now its component along this direction is 3. So the time taken to cross the river, if its width is 3 root 2 kilometer, will be 3 root 2 kilometer divided by 3, which gives you root 2. And there is another possibility also, that it can make 45 degree on the other side, right? It can make 45 degree like this. So if it is making 45 degree this way, then what will happen? The total speed will become 3 plus the speed of water, which is already 4. So it will be moving with 7 kilometer per hour. And 7 kilometer per hour, it will be moving for how much time? Root 2 hour. So then it would travel 7 root 2 kilometer in the direction of the flow, which would not agree with this option. But if it is traveling this way, this is also another possibility according to this option. So if it is traveling this way, once again the component here is 3 and the speed of the river is what? 4. So the speed with which he is moving with respect to ground, that comes out to be what? It comes out to be 4 minus 3, that is equal to 1. Okay, so v sin theta, I'll just write here 3. So the speed along x direction, if I say, then that will be what? That will be u minus v sin theta, and u is what? 4, and v sin theta is what? 3. Then in this case it will become 1 kilometer per hour, and if it is 1 kilometer per hour, and we know that it takes root 2 hours to cross, then in that case this option becomes correct. Okay.